Absolutely, Shaka. We'll move on to a posting from Oyirwot Edwin Ramos from Entebbe in Uganda, who writes, once a peace deal is implemented, the parties involved should put down their weapons for the sake of their people and their loved ones. I think that's pretty clear. And finally, Christopher Mafuta from Lusaka in Zambia says, reaching a peace deal is possible if only the parties involved respect each other's views. Demands made by either party should be reasonably fair and not rogue-based or blackmail. Shaka, respecting each other's views and being fair when making demands that should be just a negotiation one-on-one. This is a good point made here by our friend Christopher.
Very interesting. What is your reaction to Faizo? This looks like a reflection of public opinion from the continent, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. I think the public is speaking correctly. They want to say that if there is a peace deal by political wings that initially generated the conflict, they need to stick with it. The question is, does Africa has the capacity to implement and manage post-conflict resolution mechanisms? And that's where really the issue lies. Conflicts happen, then gatherings and talks take place, and accords are signed. The question is, do we have the structural strength and the mechanics to make sure that we implement those agreements? And the sad story is we don't, because those agreements and legal instruments would require governance institutions, as my sister said earlier, governance mechanisms to make sure that they are implemented. And this include legal systems, they include arbitration mechanisms, and you don't have that. Even the parliaments that could have played significant role are to a large extent corrupted. Let me just give you a quick example of why Somalia's agreements and peace accords would not stick.
You have a minute.
The parliament...
You have a minute, okay, because time is not our best ally, probably.
Well, simply, I want to say that the parliament doesn't reflect the public. It's a parliament paid in terms of their salaries by EU. And with foreign government paying your highest legislative body, the one that's supposed to reflect your views and also resolve the conflict, will not be loyal to the average African guy who is sitting under a tree. They would be loyal mainly to the paymaster. So that's one of the other issues, and post-conflict resolution mechanisms are now being handled by outside forces.
It's very interesting because the question, in fact, you are raising, who is the stakeholder here? Thanks, Mariama, for bringing us this week's audience reaction.
Thanks, Shaka. And of course, definitely strong and working institutions are key words here. And thanks to our audience who listens to us on the radio, watches us on TV, or log on to our website, or take the time to call and participate in the show. We love hearing from you. And if you are a new fan and don't know how to contact us, well, here is our email address. It's africatv@voanews.com. Once again, our email address is africatv@voanews.com. Or post your comment on our Facebook page. Just enter keywords, Straight Talk Africa. You can visit us online at voaafrica.com or join our YouTube channel. Just subscribe to VOA TV to Africa. Now, let's take a look at what's on tap for next week's program.
Next week on Straight Talk Africa, the Democratic Republic of Congo, UN officials warn of a resurgence of fighting in the war-torn nation, despite an important peace agreement reached late last year with the M23 rebels. That's next week, right here on Straight Talk Africa.